Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head up to Mölnlycke near Gothenburg, or Göteborg as you would say in Swedish, and we're going to do my second visit to Rådanäs Bryggeri. So for this one we are having a taste of their black IPA, which comes in at 6.9%, and it should be quite nice. It was rated fairly highly when I checked it out on Rate Beer earlier on, and the last beer I had from these guys I think was the Alter Ego it was called, and that was an alt beer. I really quite enjoyed that one. And this brewery are quite cool because they do brew things that aren't quite as common normally, although this black IPA I guess is a style that is becoming more and more popular. So really cool to return to this brewery once again, and I hope this is another good beer from them. So anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews I've done from Rådanäs before. Hopefully I can add some more in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel. The whole channel of course uses a geography based tagging system, so you can go onto the home page and check for beer based on country, city or state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Swedish beers that I've reviewed, and as always please do get in touch and let me know some other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. Always interesting to hear from you guys, and your support of the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Rådanäs Bryggeri then. So Rådanäs Bryggeri were founded back in 2013, and as I mentioned to you, they're based in Mölnlycke near Gothenburg. It's a little bit to the southeast if I remember correctly. But the brewery is owned by Henrik Jönsson, and the head brewer is Eskil Gröning, and apparently he was quite an avid home brewer before he turned professional. Of course the story with many craft brewers these days. But the pair had actually planned to establish their own brew pub together, and this came to fruition when they found the site of this brewery. They're still based on the same site of course, but soon after they began brewing, Nils Sörlin actually joined the brewing team, and the brewery now have quite a few employees as well. And both Eskil and Nils are graduates of the Ludvika Brewing School, quite a prestigious program they've got up there these days actually, and it's producing a lot of brewers. Gothenburg, of course, I should point out, really is the kind of beer haven, or the beer city I guess you would say, of Sweden. It's actually getting quite close to what Copenhagen has, if I'm not mistaken. There's a lot of nice craft breweries opening up in that region of the country just now, so if you come to Sweden to visit, Gothenburg is really where you want to go for your beer. But these guys say that they operate locally, and they want to really know their customers properly, I guess you would say. They want to brew beer styles that aren't so common amongst the craft beer scene. Like, as I said, the last beer I reviewed from these guys was the alt beer, and they want to kind of bring these kind of lesser known styles back and make them more mainstream within the craft beer arena. So really quite an interesting approach they've got to their brewers. They've got a few different beers. So in their main range they've got the Alter Ego, which I reviewed for you before. That's the alt beer. They've got the American Bitter. They've got the Bourbon Mash beer, the California Common, which is a steam beer of course. Of course the Anchor steam beer is quite a famous one. They've got the Organic Pilsner, the Ekologisk Vinter beer, the India Pale Ale, the Lager beer, the Porter, and they also have the Saison as well. This one I think is a fairly new release from them. I think I actually got this one maybe around November time, not long after it would have been released if I remember correctly. But it's a fairly new beer from these guys, and they do seem to produce some pretty nice stuff, like I say. So if you get the chance to try some of the Rådanäs beers, have a go of them. The Alter Ego that I reviewed for you before was actually pretty good, and I'm sure this one will be quite nice as well, because it was rated well into the 80s when I checked out on Rate Beer earlier on. So yeah, should be a really nice review in this one. And as I say, if you want to check out more about the brewery, do have a look at the website in the description below. But without further ado then, let's get on to the tasting of this beer itself. So like I mentioned to you, this guy is a 6.9% IPA. I couldn't actually find anything on the website about what hops exactly and things that they used in this. It does say on the side that they use corn malt and wheat malt on this one, but other than that it really doesn't tell you much at all. So here it's got a nice label on it, as you can see. It's got this sort of dial thing. It's got all the different styles. They've actually got all of their this maybe is all the styles that they do here listed on this little dial down here, but I do like this. It reminds me of some of these kind of old sort of 19th, 20th century sort of I don't know how you say, these kind of map drawings and things like that. Some of these old maps you see, that logo really reminds me of that. That's on the bottle cap as well actually, so I really do quite like this bottle cap. It tells you on the side here, Rådanäs Black IPA, 6.9%, and yeah, you can see the little barcode and stuff. But other than that, quite simply done, but really quite tasteful I think. I do like that. It reminds me of a lot of these old maps like I was saying. But without further ado then, let's get this guy open and we'll get on with the tasting. Looking forward to this one. So as you can see, nice smoky opening there with a bottle, and we'll get it out into the glass. And you know, right away from this, I'm actually getting a lot of nice tropical fruit. I can just smell that popping out of the bottle on this. We'll leave a little bit in for the moment, we'll put the rest of that in later. But as you can see, and as you would expect from the black IPA, it's poured a really nice sort of ebony rosewood colour. If I hold it up to the light, there's definitely a sort of ruby edge to this beer, but it looks very, very nice. You can't really see any transparency to it simply because of the colour, but it looks as if it would be quite clear. There's very little carbonation visible in this one, just one or two bigger bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass and quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of that head. The head, incidentally, is maybe about a third of a finger, and I think it's fair to say it's a kind of almost hot chocolatey kind of beigey colour that comes on this one. The same colour of head that you get of a nice hot chocolate, but it looks really nice. So let's have a closer look at the aroma of this one then. That smells nice. It's actually really quite fruity, this one. Yeah. So there's a nice bit of kind of grapefruit, I think. I'm definitely getting a little bit of grapefruit or tropical fruit coming out of this, but underneath you can smell, as you would expect, the nice sort of roasted black malt. It's almost kind of coffee-ish character coming out of this, but definitely a good bit of roasted black malt in there. There's a bit of sweetness to it as well. I do think there's some kind of brown sugar in there, not quite treacle or molasses, but a really kind of toasted caramel sort of thing. Not quite as dark as treacle or molasses, definitely. There's a little bit of a kind of almost leathery sort of nutty thing going on with this beer as well. There's definitely a bit of earthiness to the hops as well. You can really pick that out in this one. Maybe even a little bit of chocolate. I think there's a little bit of chocolatey sweetness, but really it's more the black sort of roasted malty character with this one that's just kind of underpinning the beer. But it does smell nice. The hoppy side of things is interesting. I'm getting a good bit of floral character from this one. Not quite resinous, but definitely a little bit floral. But there's a really nice fruity aspect to this beer. You know, you've got a little bit of grapefruity character, I think, but that's quite minimal. It comes across as more of a kind of red fruity ester, this one, but you can pick out that little bit of grapefruity or even passion fruity, sort of oily tropical character. You can pick that out of this beer. And then just behind it, there's those red fruity esters. I say it's kind of figs, raisins, plums sort of thing. I think it's maybe more raisins or plums in this one. It does have that juicy character that you normally expect of plums or raisins. It's not quite as smooth or as light as figs would be, but it does smell nice, this beer. It's well, the aroma of this one is well blended together, so as I always say, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of the beer before you get stuck into it. But this one's really quite nice. So yeah, let's have a go at this beer then. So this one is the Rådanäs Black IPA, comes in at 6.9% from Rådanäs Bryggeri up in Mölnlycke near Gothenburg here in Sweden. Slange, skål. It's pretty good actually. That's really quite nice. If you get the chance to try this, you know, just on first taste, this is really quite a good beer. I have to admit, when it comes to black IPAs, I do like the ones that have the feel like this. This one seems to have a little bit more of the fruity character, and I think that's one of the things that really benefits this style. For me, when you have these big roasted black malts, I like it when they start to come out in the aftertaste, and you can feel that with this beer. So you've got this almost pale malt character, and on top of that you can feel the roasted sort of black malt character, and that pushes its way out as you come into the aftertaste. You can just feel that sort of dry, bitter character coming out from the malt base as the flavour progresses. This is nice though. I mean, I think there's a little bit of a sort of brown sugar. There's a sort of toasted brown sugar to this beer in the initial stages, but then that fades away and then the malt base is just kind of taken over by the roasted black malt flavours that I'm talking about. I think there's a little bit maybe of a chocolatey feel to this one and a bit of brown sugar, but as I say, that completely subsides once you move into the aftertaste. In the back corners of the palate, there's a little bit of earthiness, but other than that, the hops actually, I think, are leaning more towards the floral side of things. I don't think it's quite pine resinous. I think it's definitely more of a kind of floral thing that's going on with this beer. maybe there's a tiny little bit of piney character, to be honest, but to me it comes across as more floral. It can be piney at the very start. You'll feel that hoppy bitterness come in, take hold, and then it just starts to fade. So in the initial stages it could be pine resins, but then when it progresses a bit more, it's more of a floral aromatic kind of thing. But you can feel the earthiness spreading its way forward on the side of your palate as well. That must just be when you take a few more sips of this beer, that earthiness just spreads its way forward, and around the front curve of the palate it's a little bit lighter. I think it's more grassy really, just around that front curve of the palate there, but the flavours blend together really quite well in this one, and I can feel in the middle of the palate that black roasted malt I'm talking about. It gets even stronger as your mouth completely adjusts to the beer. But this is good. Give it a go if you get the chance actually. But the fruity side of the beer is quite interesting as well. So if you just go behind the front curve of the palate there, it's actually, I was talking about grapefruit and things in the aroma. There is a wee teeny bit of that, but to me this one leans a little bit more towards the citrusy side of things. As I always say, you get that little oily bubble that comes out just behind the front curve of your tongue. There's quite a citrusy, fruity character to this beer in there, but then it starts to progress and it moves more into a juicy sort of jammy character. There's a little bit of a kind of, it's not quite passion fruit, not quite mango, it's maybe even a sort of apricot-y kind of jammy sort of thing going on with this one, but there's red fruits mixed in with that as well. It's sort of, I think, plum, maybe even plum jam or blackberry or something like that. It's got this kind of almost reddish berry fruit ester in there, and it really works quite nicely with the other flavours. But as I say, when you move into the aftertaste, it's the earthiness that's lingering there, the black roasted malts, and a little bit of the floral hop, and just a teeny bit of the fruitiness. Those are the main things that are lingering in this beer as the flavour starts to progress. But this is nice. I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink this again. And as I said, if you like your black IPAs to lean towards the fruity side of things with the flavour, this is one that's going to hit the spot for you, and it gives you that kind of trademark roasted black malt bitterness in the aftertaste that you would expect of the style. The malt base in this one isn't quite as sweet as some of the ones I've come across. It's got that nice kind of roasted character that you expect. But this is quite nice. This actually reminds me a little bit of the black malts and body salts from Toyo. That's one of the better black IPAs that I've reviewed on the channel. It was an Imperial black IPA, right enough, so a bit heavier in the alcohol, so that it may have just been that little bit sweeter in the malt base than this one. But the way the fruity character in this one really reminds me of that. So if you like that Toyo beer, black salts and body malts, I think you will quite enjoy this one. But yeah, I mean, if they can produce beers like this, if they can produce the darker beers like this, then these guys are doing it pretty well. I think I would love to try one of their IPAs, one of their lighter styles of beer, and see how they come across, because I mean, the Alt beer is a slightly darker style of beer. This one, of course, is a dark style of beer. So I think the next time I review one of their beers, I'll need to do an IPA or something like that, and just see what the other side of their brewing's like, because of course, if you want to review a brewery, you do want to see what the lighter side of things and what the darker side of things, and that gives you a full idea of what the scope of the craft brewery actually is. But for me, certainly, this is a really quite good beer, and they seem to do the dark things pretty well. And that's a good beer. In terms of the mouthfeel of this one then, I would say this is mid-bodied. Carbonation's pretty moderate. You know, it's got a nice kind of, it's got a quite oily mouthfeel to it, this one. It does have a little bit of wetness to it, but mainly for me, it's coming across as quite oily, and I have to admit, I do like that, because that's what helps bring out the fruity aspects to the flavour in this beer. So, as I was mentioning, you've got a nice roasted bitter character from the malt base. There is a little bit of sweetness there initially, but it subsides and gives you a big roasty bitter character. The hoppy side of things, it is quite smooth, but there is a little bit of bitterness in the back of the tongue from the earthiness that's there. Smooths out as you come further forward, and there's a little bit of juicy character from the fruits as well. But overall, for me, this is a quite nice beer. As I said, if you like the Toyo black salts and body malts, this is one that could be right up your street. It's got that, this as a black IPA, it leans more towards the fruity side of things, and for me, that's what really hits the spot with this one. So if that's what you like, give this beer a go. I'm not sure how widely available it is outside of Sweden, but if you find yourself in Gothenburg and you see some of the Rådanäs beers, in my experience, as I say, I've tried 2 of their beers now, and both of them have been pretty good. So try them and see what you think of them. But I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink this one. So if you enjoy the black IPA, make sure you check this guy out. So yeah, as always, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do check out my social media. I hope you've enjoyed this beer review. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comments section below. I think this is a pretty damn good black IPA. I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink it again. Let me know your own thoughts on it, like I said. Let me know what other Rådanäs beers I should have a look at as well for the next review. The Alter Ego is one that's good as well. If you enjoy German alt beers, do check that one out. But hopefully I can review more of these for you in the near future. But once again, thank you for watching, and I will catch you very soon. Make sure you try some of these Rådanäs beers if you find yourself up in Gothenburg in Sweden. Slander just now, and I will catch you very soon. This has been a pretty damn good black IPA, I have to say. Cheers.